Campaigners are on the way to Downing Street today in their fight to keep a Warwickshire riding school open. The charity-run Nuneaton and North Warwickshire Equestrian Centre is locked in a legal dispute with the local council. You may remember they had part of their argument on our show recently. They've withdrawn their offer of a peppercorn rent amid claims the centre's now being operated as a business. Supporters at the centre will hand in a 5,000 name petition today. Let's talk to MEP for the West Midlands, Nikki Sinclaire, who's backing their argument. Morning, Nikki. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, pleasure.
Why are you involved in this then? How did you get involved in this one?
Well, it's a typical thing. Obviously, we're the only MEP in the whole country that has a mobile surgery that goes around. Obviously, people come up with issues and I get involved. And one of my bugbears is council bureaucracy, and that's how I've become involved with it.
Is it bureaucracy? I mean, we had famously now two sides in this argument,
Sure.
having quite a loud conversation with each other about how they got to this stage. And to me, and I mean, I'm no expert in legal matters, it all seemed a little bit personal.
Well, I obviously don't want to get involved in personal arguments, but what I have been to see the chief executive for the managing director, as they call it, in Nuneaton and Bedworth, and I've spoken with him. Some of the allegations that have been flying around, he couldn't substantiate, and he couldn't tell me where those allegations came from, about private business, etc.
Yeah.
And I gave him examples. It's quite common for charities to charge something on a sliding scale, depending on what you can afford. That's quite common for charities to do. So they couldn't really substantiate the allegations that have been put in the media. But the thing is, there is a legal dispute at the heart of this, and it's quite complicated. But there's two things in law. There's the literal element of the law, and there's the spirit of the law. And with council matters, lots of things are incredibly technical, and it's which way the council really wants to come down. They've come down very literally in this case, and as a result of that, legal action has taken place, or is in the process of taking place. Now, what I said to the council is, look, why are you spending taxpayers' money on this legal case? Why is the charity having to raise money, not for their charity, but to stay in existence, to take the council to court, when all it really needs is people to get around the table and negotiate? And, there's cutbacks happening in every council among the West Midlands. They never seem to cut back their legal bills, though. And all it would need to do, and this is why it's been my big bear with bureaucracy, is sometimes they sat down. But when I met with that chief executive, he said, well, we'll just wait for the judgment. And I'm saying, why do you need to wait for the judgment? Why can't you sit down and talk? And, the other things I've been on this radio show before, if people just sat down and talked, you wouldn't need these expensive lawyers, would you?
I see, you said it was a bit complicated. I thought it was a bit simplistic, really. I thought the argument in a nutshell boiled down to the fact that the council did a deal with one charity, the riding school is now affiliated or has set up another charity, and so the council said, well, that's not the charity we did a deal with, and so therefore we don't want to continue doing a deal, we don't recognise you. That's essentially what they're saying, no?
Well, it's to do with trustees of the charity.
Okay.
And the trustees decided, didn't go really through the proper procedure, and then they're saying they're not trustees, and they didn't renew the lease. Interestingly, those trustees, or one of the trustees, is actually a serving councillor.
Right.
On the council.
Right.
That's why this is incredibly complicated.
And that's where it gets complicated, of course.
It's incredible. And he's not really been publicly open. No elected person, surprise, surprise, this seems to be a common denominator. Elected people don't want to speak to me.
Right.
They don't want to answer my questions. What are they hiding? It seems to happen council to council.
So I was going to ask you the question. Any sense that they will get round the table? It sounds like the answer to that one's no, Nikki. Then.
Well, that's what I'm pushing. And what I'm actually going to Downing Street today and bringing these people, and they've been collecting signatures. My team were out last week. We hit the 5,000. My team went out on Saturday morning in their own time and hit the 5,000 mark. What we're calling, if you remember, when David Cameron got elected, his coalition got elected. He promised big society. He promised that ordinary people doing ordinary things to help their society would be supported. And I'm saying here's a case here that's been smothered by council bureaucracy. In my opinion, looking at all the facts, I believe that the bureaucracy is smothering this. I think it's a worthwhile charity that's in there. I think they're doing an excellent job. I think it's very ordinary people trying to do something in society, which is what David Cameron tried to encourage us to do.
All right, Nikki, thanks for joining us this morning. MEP for West Midlands, Nikki Sinclaire, who's off to Downing Street with that petition. We'll keep you posted on that story.